Welcome to the RadioU Podcast. Coming up, should you be practicing financial intimacy with your friends?
Also, could you outrun Harry Styles? Probably not.
All that and more on the way next. If you're lucky on your next road trip through Missouri, you might happen upon a gas station that has what is being called heavy soda.
Heavy soda?
It's heavy soda.
Soda's not heavy enough?
It's not, yeah. If you're a fan of Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Coke, whatever, and it's not heavy enough for you, go to Missouri. Because that's where people have been posting on TikTok and Reddit about the heavy soda option. So this is like you're thinking on a soda fountain in a gas station. A lot of times they have the little buttons you can press to add flavor shots of like cherry or vanilla or whatever.
Okay.
This just makes it heavier. It makes, as in, with more of the Pepsi flavor that's already in it.
Oh.
It's just adding more of the flavor syrup.
More syrup.
Yeah, just strengthening. It's strong. It's, for some people, Coke is medicine. This is extra strength.
Extra strength.
Maximum strength Coke.
Man, I don't know if I could do that because I feel like already when I drink regular, soda that's not like diet, I can tell how much of the syrup just like cakes onto your tongue.
Yeah, some sodas, if you drink enough of it, it like leaves a feel
residue
in your mouth. Yeah,
it feels
I hate
like
that.
it's leaving a residue behind. And I recently had this happen because we went out to Red Lobster for Nene's birthday lunch that we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. And they don't serve Coke products there.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't able to get my normal Diet Coke. And I don't like Diet Pepsi. So
I was surprised you didn't just whip a can out of your bag.
Honestly, I should have. Sometimes I do plan ahead in that way, but I didn't think of that. But I had to order a regular Pepsi, and I immediately could tell that there was like something just left behind on my tongue. I was like, oh, this is not fun.
Yeah, so that would be a problem.
Yeah, and now you want to add more?
But here's a good, I feel like this is not what most people are doing, but a reasonable explanation of why you would want this.
Okay.
Because I have seen people definitely do this with their lives, and that is you buy the big soda in the morning, especially if you're stopping at a gas station, you're getting the biggest
big
cup.
gulp.
And the ice melts all day. So if you get the heavy syrup, then the syrup counteracts how it's getting watered down.
Oh.
And so you're still getting the flavor from whatever your soda is, even if it's watered down. But then if you're drinking it at first, you're going to get way too much.
Yeah, my answer to this is always light ice or no ice.
Mm-hmm.
But I know there's a lot of people that love their ice.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going through the day, if this is your one soda for the day, maybe you're, I don't know, a truck driver or something, and so you're out and about and you can't get ice. But if you're just sitting at a desk, you got to go, you fill it up with the soda and no ice, and then you use the ice maker at work.
Sure.
I think would be the way to do it.
Sure.
To just sporadically add ice throughout the day.
Yeah, if you wanted to do that, you could. But yeah, I think that's a good an idea there that might be the reason why people are adding in the extra syrup is they don't want it to get watered down.
So there's a reasonable explanation. We don't have to get upset. And if people want to put the heavy syrup in,
I'm not upset.
Go a little while.
I'm not upset. It's just not for me because I'm like the regular amount of syrup too much. Mm-hmm. I'm good.
And it's a reasonable explanation, so people can do it, and there's no problem with them having it. But also, let's be realistic. It's probably just people that don't need. They're just pumping up their flavor.
Yeah.
As if it's not sweet enough already for you.
Right.
And you know what? No judgment on you either. Because who decided what is the right amount of Dr. Pepper flavor?
I guess Dr. Pepper.
A full day of NFL football yesterday. It was exciting from start to finish. Here's my question I want to ask for you, Allie, and for anybody to text in at 877-2-RADIO-U. The best win and the worst loss of the week. You might need a second to think about it, so let me start. The worst loss of the week is the Texans. Obviously, other teams got blown out worse, but the Texans lost 17-10 against the Jaguars. The Texans are 0-3.
They're 0-3, but weirdly enough, the Jags were favored going into that game.
Mm-hmm.
That just shows you how bad the Texans have been to start this season.
Yeah, and here's the thing about the Texans. Well, first, I mean, now they're 2 games behind the Jaguars, plus the Jaguars have beat them.
Yep.
The Colts are still undefeated, 3-0.
Right.
So the Texans are already facing a big uphill climb to win the division, which many people would have thought was just a given going into the season.
Playoff team last year.
And why can't the Texans score any points? It's not like the Jaguars have a great defense. It may be okay, but like everybody's been hyping CJ Stroud. And you think back, like they barely made it in the playoffs the last couple of years. And just getting to the playoffs is like enough. But like if they had missed the playoffs one of those 2 years, what would we think of it? Like they're scoring 10 points. They're struggling against okay defenses.
Yeah, this is a really surprising start from them. And I don't know what's going on.
And then the best win, I think, also a divisional game, the Chargers. They're undefeated. They've beaten everybody in their division. Obviously, there's still 14 games to go. It's not like they can't be caught. But at the same time, they are looking like the best team in the AFC West, which is a little shocking.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you as far as worst loss because that's pretty sad start from the Texans. But impressive win. I mean, I'm always impressed when a team can beat somebody 30-0. Mm-hmm. It's the NFL. Come on, Falcons, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I honestly think for me, it's the Eagles coming back against the Rams to stay undefeated. They looked like they were about to lose that game and lose it by a lot. Uh-huh. They were down 26-3?
They were down by, I think, 19 points going in, or at one point in the game.
Yeah, and so, and there had already been halftime, so you're thinking, like, there's no time to make halftime adjustments. You clearly haven't made them. You're not scoring points. And suddenly they started mounting the comeback. And I kept getting notifications about it because Jalen Hurts is on one of my fantasy football teams. So it was like, Jalen Hurts has scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has scored another touchdown. And still, it felt like it wasn't going to be enough because the Rams had what should have been a chip shot field goal to win the game, and somehow the Eagles block the kick and run it back for a touchdown. So incredible from the Eagles to have that type of, I don't know if you want to call it luck. I don't know what you want to call it, but they were able to mount the comeback, finish it off in a crazy way.
That is a good question about yesterday. Not just the Eagles game, but so many game-winning or game-altering kicks were blocked at the end of the game. Obviously, the Browns blocked the kick for the Packers that would have given the Packers the lead and probably the win. The Jets got a kick six block for touchdown against the Buccaneers to give them the lead and then still lost.
Yeah, the Buccaneers still came back.
But normally, like, you could go weeks without seeing a blocked kick in the NFL, and instead you get 3 all at the close of the 1 o'clock window there that all wound up, they all wound up changing the game. 2 wound up giving the team the win.
Yeah.
Only the Jets can block a game-winning kick.
And still lose.
And return it for a touchdown and still lose. Although I said this at the time, the guy it was Will McDonald that blocked it, he should have fallen down on the 1 yard line because then the Jets could have had the chance to take him running in for the touchdown gave Baker Mayfield, who you don't want to give any time left of the game.
Nope.
It gave him plenty of time to get the Buccaneers down there for the game-winning kicks.
Yeah, as we've talked about pretty much every week of the season, it feels like, which we're only 3 weeks in. Don't give Baker Mayfield any time. People need to know this. Come on.
There's so much other stuff. Like the Bengals obviously got blown out. That was sad. And we don't need to, I think we don't need to dwell on the Browns beating the Packers very much.
I mean, nothing can destroy my week because Cleveland is in a playoff position. They're 1 game out from the Detroit Tigers, and the Cleveland Browns got their first win, and it was against your Green Bay Packers. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that you actually wound up winning.
Why?
Well, the Packers, I didn't want the pressure of them trying to go undefeated.
Oh my gosh,
like that can be really distracting for a team. They need to focus on the Super Bowl, not the regular season.
Stop. You're being ridiculous.
And they needed a wake-up call. They need to focus. You said nothing can ruin your week. That's good because you're getting punished for your football picks coming up by doing an impression of me. Hudson here with Hudson because Allie lost our football picks this week on a tiebreaker. Isn't that right, Hudson?
I'm not going to be good at this. All right. That's right.
You've already failed. Hudson would never say, I'm not going to be good at this. So that's something I would never say. Keep going. Isn't that right? Allie lost the football picks on a tiebreaker.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
She was jonesing for those wins.
She was. I don't know if that's really the right use of jonesing. You have any other words you'd like to share about Allie? Hudson?
She's always she's always so happy. I don't know. I'm not good at impressions.
You should have thought about that.
I know. I honestly, okay, here's the thing. Break.
Also, Hudson is very good at impressions.
Time out. I didn't think I lost. I thought it was a tie, and so I didn't prepare for this at all.
It was a tie, but the tiebreaker...
I didn't remember the tiebreaker part.
The tiebreaker is whoever's upset pick is closer.
Okay.
If we both lose, it's whoever it was closer to winning. And if they both win, then whoever won by more. Neither of us were particularly good. I had UNC. They lost by, I think, 26. And you had Tulane against Ole Miss, and they lost by...
I think 35 or something like that.
Yeah, more than that. Neither was particularly close, though.
All right. We're back into it. Okay.
Hudson is back.
I don't know what to say. I really don't.
Do you want another crack at this? Like maybe in an hour or something?
No, because I don't know what I would say even then. My Packers didn't do well this week.
Yeah.
They lost because Grant Delpit knows how to block a kick.
You know what? You know what Hudson would say about that. If only the Packers had Aaron Rodgers, they wouldn't have lost that game.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
That's exactly right. And Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, they continue to look good. They're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now
you're talking some sense. Now you're sounding like Hudson.
And I'm just appreciative that we have football games because when the season is over, we'll all be jonesing for more football.
Is that my catchphrase? I say jonesing.
You say it so much. Tell him in the chat, everybody, how much he says jonesing.
8772 RadioU. This is a good question. What's my catchphrase? I think I have more than one, but I would have never thought jonesing was.
I think you have several, but you've been saying jonesing a lot recently.
It's time for our Monday tradition, the box office breakdown, looking at what made money and what didn't in theaters over the weekend. Let us know what you've seen lately at 8772 RadioU. I'll tell you the number one movie in America. There is a new number one. It's Him, the football horror movie.
Really?
With Jordan Peele involved, even though he didn't direct it. It made $13.5 million in North America. I actually don't know what that is versus expectations, but it's, in the scheme of things, not great.
Not huge. Just sounds like a pretty poor performance overall by the box office if that's the number one movie. Only making $13 million.
It was a very weak weekend at the box office. One of the worst weekends of the year. There was a few in March that were worse, but other than that, it's one of the worst weekends for movies of the year. Number two was The Conjuring: Last Rites. That made another almost $13 million. And then number three, maybe the big headline out of the weekend, because number three was Demon Slayer Infinity Castle again, which was number one last week. Mm-hmm. Demon Slayer made another almost $12 million in North America. It has now made $555 million worldwide. It is the highest grossing film in Japanese history.
Wow, that is incredible. My sister actually told me about how it hit the $500 million mark.
Mm-hmm.
And because she was a big Demon Slayer fan, so she was very happy for them.
Yeah. And I didn't know all this backstory on Demon Slayer, although it's something I've heard of. I just don't know how much Demon Slayer they already made. It made all of this money despite, and continues to make money, I suppose, despite it being it is a sequel or a follow-up to an anime TV series as well as a already existing Demon Slayer trilogy of movies. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of either you're going in blind, right, or you have a lot of homework that you have had to have done in your life to be in on this Demon Slayer movie, and now there's two more coming because it's the first of a trilogy as well. So A lot of things in a way you could say going against it, although they keep making the Demon Slayer stuff, so it's obviously popular.
Yeah.
But the idea that it's made, it's half a billion dollars already.
I know.
Is pretty amazing.
It's huge. Great for them.
Also, the other headline from the box office was how bad A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey did.
Well, I mean, the reviews for it were terrible, as we talked about on Friday.
They were not good. But you get Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie, and you feel like people might ignore the reviews a little bit and just be like, these are stars, you know?
Ever since Barbie, I think the tides have really shifted on Margot.
You think so?
I have heard a lot of negative opinion, and mainly it's because of an upcoming movie called Wuthering Heights, which is an adaptation of, the book. And people are not happy with how she cast herself as like the main female character in that story, even though she's way older, looks completely different than the description in the book. And so I think the tides are kind of turning on Margot Robbie, where people are not as big of a fan of her, and she's not as big of a draw as what maybe some thought.
Yeah, she and Colin Farrell only made $2.6 million.
$2 million?
In over 3,000 theaters, which is, like it basically was everywhere.
That is
and
not
nobody
good.
went to see it. Nobody.
Oh my.
An $800 average per theater. Not good. Even though I saw this too. It was written by the same person who wrote The Menu, so you would have expected something. I would have expected a better, product.
Yeah, but The Menu was a horror, thriller, and this was not. And so totally different work from that person.
Well, not good. Not good for A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. Let us know what you saw at 8772 Radio U. We'll share what we've been watching lately as well. Shout out to Adam, who sent in his review of The Wrong Paris. We mentioned this is the Miranda Cosgrove movie on Netflix where she thinks she's signing up for a dating show in Paris, France. It's actually Paris, Texas. Adam says, you mentioned it last week, and actually it was not as bad as I thought it would be, and it was nice to see them parody dating shows.
Aw, yeah.
Adam also mentioned that he and his wife saw a preview for Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. Nothing about the preview made either of them want to go see it, and that's usually the type of movie his wife would like. So not saying much good for A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey.
Yeah, I never saw any ads for it, but even just from the review that we did share on Friday, I was like, oh, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'll avoid that one.
So what have you watched in the last little bit, Allie, besides sports, of course?
Yeah, I watched a lot of sports over the weekend. Didn't get to Superman, even though we talked about how it made its debut on HBO Max.
That's disappointing.
I know. I should have watched it. But weirdly enough, I watched a movie that came out in 1968.
Okay.
One that I had not seen yet, even though I'm a huge horror fan.
Okay.
And that was Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah. And I had not seen that one. Directed by, I believe, Roman Polanski. And I had kept saying to myself, because one of my favorite movies is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Roman Polanski's in that movie, like portrayed in that movie. And they talk about Rosemary's Baby, like they talk about it because he had just had that successful film. I was like, you know what? I need to watch that. And so finally, I did.
And how does it hold up
It's
for
actually
you?
pretty suspenseful. It's even though it came out in 1968, pretty scary.
Yeah. Is it, I've never seen it, but those old horror movies, or, when I think of Hitchcock, it's not like it's visually scary as far, they're not gory. They kind of even don't do jump scares, but it's more of just like a sense of dread of like, you don't know what's coming next.
It's filled with dread. And also there's a moment when she's kind of in this closet and it's really dark and you kind of can't really see much. And I feel like they utilize that really well in these older horror movies, just not being able to tell what's happening on the screen.
Which doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
But actually
the music and all of that, it builds the suspense.
That sounds interesting. Maybe I should watch that. The last thing I watched is Weird, the Weird Al movie. Starring Daniel Radcliffe.
Which I need to see that.
I had seen before and somehow randomly just circled back to it again on the Roku channel. And I mean, it's just a really fun movie. It's not exactly breaking new ground because like there's been other parodies of the rock star biography or biopic movies. So it's not exactly, again, breaking new ground, but it's just fun to give it a Weird Al twist. The first half of the movie is really focused on like weird ways that he would have come up with his songs, which is fun, and it kind of diverges away from that. I feel like the second half of the movie isn't as strong.
Okay.
But I mean, it's still entertaining, but it just kind of goes in a different direction.
Yeah.
I also am a couple more episodes into The Paper.
Oh.
On Peacock.
What do you think?
I mean, I'm going to keep watching it. It's not bingeable to me. I don't want to like watch episode after episode.
I was going to say you took a 2-week break pretty much?
Yeah, close to that probably, yeah.
Between episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah, but I am liking, I'm finding more to like at each episode. And you know what, honestly, I was thinking when I was watching it this weekend, I was like, if it wasn't tied to The Office, if it was like Parks and Rec, right?
Yeah.
Parks and Rec was very similar to The Office, the same kind of idea, but it was not connected in any way.
Completely separate.
I think if The Paper did that, it would have been more well received.
I agree with that.
I mean, people seem to like it enough that they're watching it. They're going to put it on NBC. It's getting a second season. But I also feel like people might have actually been less hesitant to watch it if it wasn't connected.
I think I agree.
College football this weekend, Allie. We had some great games. Even though there was only a few ranked matchups, it still seemed like a really good schedule. What was your headline from the weekend?
Honestly, I was really impressed by Texas Tech in the Utah game. We both picked Utah because they were at home. Both teams were 3-0 going into this game. But really, we didn't know much about either team. And so it could go either way. And it went Texas Tech's way by a lot.
Yeah.
They won 34-10. So I definitely didn't see Texas Tech going in there and smacking Utah like that. Another huge game was Indiana. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say Texas Tech now, like the huge favorite to win the Big 12.
Absolutely. Iowa State, I think them and Iowa State.
And don't discount TCU too.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's hard to say. Obviously, it's very impressive what Texas Tech did. But it was still a 7-point game through the entire first 3 quarters, and then it kind of got out of hand in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But still surprising that Utah wasn't able to move the ball on them at all, which really says something about Texas Tech. But
yeah.
I still, I feel like it tells me a lot that Utah just wasn't. I still think they're fine, but like not as good as I hoped they might be. And Texas Tech, I don't know. Like we shall see.
Yeah, we'll
but
see.
But still an impressive win.
Definitely impressive win. I didn't have Texas Tech on my radar at all for this season as a potential playoff contender. And they're right there. They have a chance for the playoff. Another huge win was Indiana over Illinois by the score of 63-10.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, just if you were a person that doesn't know college football and you just came and you saw these two teams and you just saw their ranking and you were like, all right, pick who's supposed to win, you would pick Illinois because they're 9 and Indiana's 19. And to see that score at the end of the day, it's like Indiana, no joke again.
Yeah. Kurt Cignetti, the coach of Indiana, frustrates me because of some of his comments. And last year, I really didn't think Indiana was worthwhile. And even though they wound up with a good record, but anytime they played a actual decent team, they lost. But that said, I do love, like, given the opportunity, it's one thing to win 63-10 against Kennesaw State or whatever, minor school. To run it up on Illinois, like, that's the kind of thing at Indiana you need to do to be taken seriously.
Right.
And I kind of love that they did that.
They made a statement.
I never bought Illinois in the first place, so good riddance to them. I saw their I saw on Twitter going into this game of like, if we beat Indiana and USC, will you take us seriously? Like, so desperate. And I'm like, how about you actually do that? I don't think you're going to. And sure enough, they did not.
Illinois still has a chance. They're not 1-3 like Clemson, but they definitely did not look good. And so they're going to need to make some massive improvements if they want to try and run the table or something. But yeah, Indiana needed to do this after such a poor performance against Notre Dame in the playoff last year, where I think we all kind of predicted they would look that bad against Notre Dame anyways. And so they needed to show, take us seriously. It wasn't a fluke. Last season wasn't a fluke. We're a for real team. We're a good football team.
Watch out, though. Indiana goes on the road to Iowa this week.
Oh, you think they're going to lose to Iowa?
They're riding high. They might be in for a fall. Allie, how did your 5K go over the weekend?
It actually went really good.
You finished it?
I did. I finished it.
Did you run the whole way?
I didn't run the whole way. Like I said, I'm still pretty new to running, but I only stopped 2 times to walk, and so I was happy with that. And I did it in, I think, just over 42 minutes. And I finished 15th in my age range. It's based off of gender and age. And so I finished 15th in my age bracket.
Out of?
I don't know how many at the end there were, but because they were like updating it as people came in. But yeah.
Not too shabby.
I think I did pretty good. I was happy with my performance, and that's what's most important.
Yes, that's what matters. You weren't the only one running this weekend.
I know.
Harry Styles was also running this weekend. Harry Styles ran the Berlin Marathon on Sunday, and he did it in under 3 hours.
That's really impressive.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you could have told me any time, and I have no frame of reference with marathons.
With his pace of how he ran, he was running a 650 mile.
The whole marathon.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That's really impressive to me.
That's really good.
That's like my half-mile pace.
Yeah. He ran the marathon under the pseudonym Stead Sarandos, which is an strange nod to the CEO of Netflix, right?
Is it? I didn't know.
Ted Sarandos is the Netflix.
Ted Sarandos?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know what his name was. I didn't know that.
I don't know why he chose that, but he did come in 2 hours, 59 minutes, 13 seconds, which it says is a coveted mark for many marathon runners. I wonder if he had run like a really bad time, if they wouldn't have publicized this.
Well, he did run the Tokyo Marathon in March and was over 3 hours. I think he was at like 3:20 something. And
what name did he use then?
I don't know. We need to look that up. Was it Stead Sarandos or something else? Another CEO? Was it Jeffrey Bezos?
Right.
Like a weird version
Jeffrey Bezos.
I hope so. Keep getting creative with that, Harry Styles. But he improved upon that time. So he's clearly done a lot of training to improve by that amount. Like, to move yourself down by maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Well, hold on a second, because it also says here that the Berlin Marathon is known as one of the fastest in the world, as in, if I understand it right, like one of the fastest tracks where it helps you have a good speed. So,
I didn't know that.
And that makes a big difference. Like, at the Olympics and stuff, like sometimes they'll put asterisks by for the distance running if there's a really good wind blowing at your back for a lot of the track or whatever. Like, I think that's kind of normal. I don't know much about times, but I have heard of this in road racing. So I wonder, like, the conversion of just under 3 hours on the Berlin Marathon, what that would convert to on the standard marathon or some of the tougher tracks.
So it tells me Harry Styles just needs to keep running marathons.
Yeah.
So we can start getting some other times from him.
We'll have to start watching out for more odd names. One letter. We'll have to see if Sleeve McDykel is running a marathon anytime soon.
I love it. Yeah, we need to start giving some suggestions to Harry Styles, like Jeffrey Bezos.
Bobson Dugnut. But I love when people say, only God can judge me. Because I don't know about you, but I feel like when people say that, when I see people on their, posting on Instagram or Twitter, only God can judge me. It always seems like they're saying that when they're clearly in the wrong about something.
Yeah, they're feeling a little convicted.
They're saying that because everybody else is judging them as being wrong, and they're like, well, what if God weighed in on this? And the truth is, God, probably in that case, a lot of times it seems like God might weigh in with everybody else.
Right. It's like, do you really want God to weigh in on this?
Yeah. So it makes me laugh when I see that. But also, I do love the phrase. I just wish it wasn't used that way. Because I think one of our big weaknesses as people, or what can be a big struggle for us, is that we do live our lives by other people's standards.
Yeah.
We want to seem like a good person on Instagram to our followers or to our parents or to our coworkers or to whoever it is, where you're doing things that maybe you wouldn't ordinarily think are right or whatever, because you feel like you need to honor, because other people are judging you and you want them to think you're a good person. But that can actually lead us astray of doing things that actually are the right thing to do, if you actually are paying attention to what God says is the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, we always say this, comparison, thief of joy. And so when you're comparing yourself to other people or trying to live up to some standard that they have set for life or whatever, it's going to just lead to unhappiness and being, not joyful. And often I think leads to you doing the wrong thing, actually. And so, don't let that be what rules your life.
Yeah, definitely. And how do you know what God actually wants for you? What is the right thing from God versus what everybody else wants you to do? That comes from spending time with God. That comes from listening to God, from reading the Bible, from paying attention to Him, and not spending so much time looking at what everybody else, or a lot of times we don't even know what other people actually think is the right thing. We're just basing what we do off of what we think they think.
Right. It's just assumptions, full of assumptions.
And so instead of doing that, which what happens when you assume, just start talking to God and let Him talk to you and let Him show you what is right and start paying attention much more to Him. And seriously, only God can judge you. If you're doing the right thing based off of God's standards and other people think you're doing the wrong thing, what matters? It's what God thinks. So start talking to Him. Find out more at RadioU.com/free gift. This is an interesting story from NBC News. It says, looking to invest more in their friendships, some are opening shared bank accounts. We're talking a shared bank account with your friend, with your buddy.
What?
8772 Radio U. They say in a world where most people tend to make financial decisions in isolation, practicing, quote, financial intimacy with friends can help strengthen those relationships, according to experts.
I think according to me, that could probably end some friendships too, if you have a joint bank account.
Yeah.
This could go south real quick.
It depends if you want to have a glass half full or a glass half empty view of this. Isn't it interesting? The first example they bring up actually... I would say, I don't know if it won me over, but it seems like a reasonable use case for why you would do this. It was two friends that opened up a shared Cash App account where they have, in the last 6 months, saved over $1,000 that they're going to use for a trip celebrating a friend-iversary.
Okay.
How they funded the account is if one of the two friends is training for a marathon. If she skips one of her runs, then she has to add $5 into the Cash App account. She must have skipped a lot of runs.
Yeah, that sounds like you didn't do too good training for that marathon.
But these people have been friends for a while, so I'm starting to see where you're right that it seems like it could end some friendships, but also you're less likely to break up with a friend than you are with a significant other, right? Like people go through breakups all the time, but your friends, a lot of times, once you've been friends for a little while, you're just friends for life, no matter what happens.
Yeah, that's fair, but I just mean more like putting the financial part of it into it. There's a reason why friendships last for a while, because you don't have financial stress involved. But often, and the stats bear out on this, a lot of times why people get a divorce, why people break up, is because of finances. So why would you want to add the number one relationship killer to your friendship?
That's a good point. It's a chicken or the egg thing.
Yeah.
Like, is it the money that's ruining marriages, or are marriages ruined and money, comes up in it?
Well, I think it's probably an excuse given to why a marriage falls apart. I think there's a plethora of reasons why a marriage or a relationship falls apart. But I'm just saying what the stats show is that a lot of times financial issues are one of the reasons why relationships end.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to do this with just anybody. Like, this has got to be a very close friend that you trust a lot.
Or else they're going to steal your money away.
I mean, the truth is, though, you're right. And you see it in business, too, where people go into business together and they've been friends and they've had this idea for a long time.
And then it ruins their friendship.
Right. It actually winds up being the way that one of them was bilking the other out of money.
Yeah.
I don't know how frequent that truly is versus how many friends are just friends and the money never comes between them. So I just feel like, buyer beware.
Yes.
You get in on this, I think is not wrong on its face, but you just got to be prepared that this could actually go very, very wrong for you.
Yeah, I think just overall keeping finances out of your friendships might just be the safest way to go.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Like you send your friend a Venmo request and they're ignoring you, and it's like, don't act like you don't have money to pay this. We have a joint account.
We have a joint account. I know what's in there.
Yeah. It is a wonderful time of year because we've got so much sports going on to distract us from everything else in the world. And for Allie and I both, our baseball teams are still in the mix. We're coming down. It's the last week of the season. We still got a shot here.
Yeah, both of our teams are still in the mix. You are a Boston Red Sox fan. I am a Cleveland Guardians fan. Both of them, if the playoffs ended right now, they would be in the wild card. Mm-hmm. But to me, the bigger deal, and this is something that I know a lot of Ohio people have wanted for years, and it hasn't happened in a long time. I don't know. We need to Google when the last time this happened. Right now, if the playoffs started today, both Ohio teams would make it in. The Reds would be in the playoffs because right now they're tied with the Mets, but they have the tiebreaker over the Mets for that third wild card spot in the National League.
Yeah. I kind of hope it stays this way.
I hope so too. I want it for the Reds so bad.
I do have a little bit of a soft spot for the Mets, but I have more of a soft spot for the Reds.
Yeah, they're my NL team. My dad loves, he grew up with the Big Red Machine, so he talked about the Reds all the time. I've always been more of a Cleveland fan, but I would love to see them make it into the playoffs.
And in the National League, the Reds would be such a David versus Goliath thing, where you're talking about the Dodgers and the Padres and the Cubs, historic franchises with big payrolls, and then the Reds owner literally doesn't want to, he would rather lose money and win.
He'd rather
lose games and win money, have money than the Reds make the playoffs. So, it'll be interesting. I hope they kind of make it. Whereas the Guardians, I just think the Guardians are more interesting than the Astros. As a Red Sox fan, I feel like we have a little bit of a history with the Astros. They've kind of knocked us out a lot in recent years. The Guardians, I just don't see as a threat. So I would like to have them in.
Yeah. I agree with you. It says the last time that both teams made it in was actually during the expanded 2020 playoff postseason.
Oh, yeah, everybody
but that
made
doesn't
it.
count.
Yeah, that
doesn't count. We need the real time that they both made it in. It says that the last time that they both made it to the championship series was 1995, but it looks like both teams, when they made it to a regular playoffs, was 2013.
Dang. It's
been a minute.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And that would surely make things exciting. This is going to be a fun final week, though. Today, there's 3 games, but they don't really matter. But then the rest of the week, everybody's playing throughout the entire rest of the week. The Red Sox are 1 game up on the Guardians and Astros for the last wild card spot. The Guardians are still trying to chase the Tigers, who they start a series with tomorrow, for the division title as well. So kind of a 4-way race for what is 3 spots in the American League. And then the National League, the Reds and Mets are tied for the last spot. The Diamondbacks are only a game behind. And the Giants still technically, they're 3 games. They could maybe have a long shot at it. So it's going to be six days of where it's going to feel like playoff games for these teams.
I know it's feeling a lot like a play-in tournament almost because of how these series have set up. I don't know how they did the scheduling this year, but we need to give them a lot of props because how they scheduled this series with a huge Seattle-Houston series we had over the weekend, a huge series with Detroit and Cleveland starting on Tuesday. It just really bared out well for Major League Baseball.
And we've just gotten lucky because even as they've expanded the playoffs, there's been years where you come down to the final week and everything's basically wrapped up.
Right.
Yeah. And after 162 games, I guess you wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. But this year, everybody's much more, it feels even. And so, or at least the teams haven't run away with it.
Yeah.
So we get some fun races.
Thanks for listening to the RadioU Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.